The award-winning gaming company Telltale Games brought you some of your favorite episodic games of the last decade. The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and Minecraft, just to name a few. But last week, Telltale's CEO announced that the company was shutting down, and 90% of their employees were let go without severance. The shutdown has caused a massive uproar on social media. Telltale has gotten a pretty bad rep over the last few months, and this shutdown seems to be part of a much wider problem. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know right now on I.O. Welcome back to InformOverload, where we keep you up to date with everything that's happening on the internet. I'm Charlotte Dobre, and if you need a place to get your news on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. You should also follow the I.O. team on Instagram. Our links are posted down below. On September 21st, 2018, the CEO of Telltale, Pete Hawley, announced that Telltale was shutting down, and 90% of its employees would be fired that day. That is 225 to 250 employees that were told to drop what they were doing and leave. These employees were not given a warning, severance pay, and they only had a limited amount of time left on their healthcare benefits. 9 days to be exact. They were given 30 minutes to leave the building. To make matters worse, one employee who was working until 3 a.m. the night before did so without the thought that the studio was about to let them go. Telltale said only 25 of its employees were going to be continuing on to fulfill the company's obligations to its board and partners. They still need to fulfill the contractual obligations for Minecraft, story mode for Netflix. This abrupt shutdown reportedly happened after their last major investor pulled out of the company. No one knows exactly who this investor was, but it's rumored that it was Lionhead. There is no word on whether or not Telltale would be finishing The Wolf Among Us Season 2, Game of Thrones Season 2, and the highly anticipated Stranger Things project, but apparently all the employees who were working on these games have been let go. That being said, Netflix reportedly still plans to produce the Stranger Things game despite the collapse. Telltale also did say that they would be finishing The Walking Dead final season. In an update, the company wrote on Twitter that there are multiple potential partners who have stepped forward who have expressed interest in helping to see the final season of The Walking Dead through to completion. The question is Telltale going to use the money from these financial backers to provide severance to the employees they let down? Can you really use the excuse "we have no money" at this point, where people have literally offered them money? All of this seems like pretty poor planning. Why did it get to this point where they had to announce the closure of their company before they exhausted all of their options first? Clearly there are investors that want to pitch in. Why didn't you look for those investors before laying off 200 people? All of this points to the fact that Telltale is poorly managed, and this isn't the first time that's been said either. This abrupt shutdown of Telltale has caused a lot of anger in the gaming community and among the former employees. Former Telltale employee Brandon Sabenka tweeted, "None of my sleepless nights or long hours on weekends trying to ship a game on time got me severance today. Don't work overtime unless you're paid for it. Protect your health. Companies don't care about you." There are a lot of rumors floating around that Telltale was exploitative of their employees, and a lot of people think that game developers should unionize. The fact that these employees were not given any form of severance is pretty terrible, frankly. A few months back, there were a lot of rumors going around that Telltale was a company that suffered from toxic management, where employees were constantly overworked without overtime. Those same employees were never rewarded for the long hours and time they spent away from their families. Emily Grace Buck, lead designer on several of Telltale games, including the final season of The Walking Dead, has been one of the most vocal of the employees let go. She said on Twitter, "Yes, it's true. We usually worked 50+ hour weeks, sometimes 70 to 80. Weekends were often expected. We were constantly understaffed. Deadlines were ludicrously tight. Our schedules were so close we went from one crunch directly into another." What is more is, Emily says that she used to work multiple nights in a row with barely any sleep to hit a milestone review, only to have 90% of that work not constructively criticized and thrown out the window at that very review. Telltale has been having financial problems for quite some time. Co-founder of Telltale and former CEO Kevin Bruner sued the company back in June seeking financial damages. Telltale responded by saying that the suit was nothing more than a way for Bruner to seek revenge against a company that was already under financial strain. All of this being said, Telltale is not the only gaming developer that doesn't treat its employees well. It's part of a much wider problem in the industry. Contracts are often one-sided, hours are always long, and managers, well, you get the picture. Let's hope the remaining employees at Telltale listen to the massive uproar on social media and pay their employees what they deserve. Anyways guys, that's all I have for you on that. It's time to respond to some of your comments. Alex said, "Will you have kids? If you do, what will you name them?" I probably will have kids, but not for a few years. I've always really liked Egyptian names like Cleo. I used to like Isis, but that's not appropriate anymore. Rosie Murray said, "Can you do a French accent?" Not well. I also feel like I sound Quebecois. "Hello, my name is Jean Chrétien. I am the Prime Minister of Canada." Canada. Grim Hades said, Charlotte, I am glad you reinvented what potato stands for. It used to be derogatory, now it's good. We are proud to be Spuds. And I am proud to be your queen. Johnny said, Charlotte, what's your favorite meme? I love classical art memes. They are my favorite. Like, you know, the why though guy? Yeah. If you don't follow classical art shit on Instagram, I highly recommend. Nightfish said, I love IO, always keeps us updated with the trending news. That is my job, thanks for the support. The video is over, don't worry, we put together a playlist for you that you should definitely check out, that's right over here. And if you enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, and notification bell, and I will see you in a future IO video.